your book to equations with variables on both sides, you should see these 4 problems, and these are the 4 problems we're going to look at. So as we're going through these, some things I want you to keep in mind. So the first thing we're going to do is, again, if we have to, we're going to combine like terms. I know they don't give us a lot of room to write these notes. And then the second thing we're going to do is, if there's no like terms, you're going to move all the x's to one side, or terms with variables. And then the last thing you'll do is move all constants to other side. You can fit this somewhere on your flipbook, that'd be good. If not, maybe try to write it off to the side in your notebook. But first we combine all like terms, move all the terms with a variable to one side, and then you move all the constants to the other side. Make sure they're not on the same side. So let's look at this first one here. So looking at this one, well, we have variables on 2 different sides. We have a 2m here and a 2m here. We want to move the variables all to one side. So usually you want to move the smaller one over to the other side to keep your numbers positive. But since they're both 2m, we can just choose any side. So I'm going to take this 2m and subtract it to the other side. So we have to subtract 2m on this side. Now you only have to subtract whatever you're moving once to the other side. You don't have to subtract it from every term. So I subtract 2m here, so I'm going to subtract 2m here. 2m minus 2m just gives us 0m. So we're left with negative 2 equals, again, we're just left with 0m, and then minus 2. This is actually a special case. This problem, we'll talk more about these next week. But what's going to happen is you don't really get an answer because you have 0m. Because really this can go away. So all we're left with is negative 2 equals negative 2. And we can't solve any more than that. We'll come back to what that really means on Tuesday of next week. But if we look at this next one, do the same sort of thing. Let's start by moving our constants, or not our constants, our variables to one side. So we have a 4m here and a 5m here. Let's take the smaller one. So to move this 4m, we're going to have to subtract it because it's positive. So we're going to subtract 4m on the other side. That'll cancel those. So on this left side, we're only left with negative 6 equals 5m minus 4m is 1m, and then keep the plus 2. Now from here, it really just looks like a 2-step equation. So there's a plus 2 over here. We want to move it with the other constant, so we're going to minus 2. Those will cancel. Negative 6 and a negative 2 will give us negative 8. And then we can bring the 1m down. Now we know that we don't need the 1 in front of m, so you could get rid of the 1 if it helps you just to keep doing the same thing. If you want to divide on 1 on each side to cancel out that 1, we still get the same thing and just get m equals negative 8 as our answer. And then remember, we do want to check our work. So we're going to do 4 times, instead of 4m, it's going to be 4 times negative 8. Minus 6 equals 5, instead of 5m, 5 times negative 8, plus 2. We get negative 32 minus 6 equals negative 40 plus 2. Well, negative 32 and a negative 6 give us negative 38. And negative 40 plus 2 does give us negative 38 as well. So since they are equal on both sides, it did work. So m equals negative 8 is the right answer. Looking at the last 2 here. Same sort of thing. We want to move the variables to one side. Let's take the smaller one, so negative 3m. Move it to the other side. Well, it's negative, so we're going to do positive to get rid of it, and plus 3m to get rid of it on the other side. These will cancel. We're just left with 2 equals 6 plus 3m is 9m minus 7. Now just treat it like a 2-step equation. We want to make this variable by itself, so we have to get rid of this minus 7. The opposite of minus 7 is plus 7. So we're going to do that to both sides. So let's cancel. 2 plus 7 is 9 equals 9m. Then to get the m alone, divide by 9 on both sides. And then these will cross cancel, m equals 1. Now again, plug it back in to check. So -3, instead of m, it's going to be 1, plus 2. So I'm just rewriting my original equation, but replacing my answer with m, equals 6 times 1, instead of m, minus 7. And then just solve from there. -3 times 1 gets us -3 plus 2 equals 6 times 1 is 6 minus 7. -3 plus 2 is -1. 6 minus 7 is -1. So our solution did work because they're the same on both sides. So this is the true answer. This last one, same sort of thing. We don't have any like terms, so we'll go straight to moving the variable to one side. Again, we both have, there's a 2m and a 2m, so it doesn't matter which one we move. Now, when we subtract 2m from both sides, they give us another weird one like this. These will both cancel. So what we're left with is -6 on one side and 8 on the other side. Now, this will never happen. -6 can never equal 8. So when we see something like this, it ends up being a problem that has no solution. And that happens sometimes. That's our answer. No solution. There's no answer. But again, we'll look at problems like these more later. But that's just solving with equations with variables on both sides. We'll look at this more tomorrow. Move all your terms with variables to one side, move all your constants to the other, and then you just, after that, you just solve like normal, like our regular 2 steps. All right.